Hello, welcome back to our channel. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. So we're showing you the process of how Brian constructed this indoor custom-made rabbit home or hutch for our 3 rabbits, Chai, Coco, and Milky. And this was how it looked like before we painted it. I kind of want to show you guys the setup before. We had 3 rabbits in 2 different cages. We had just gotten Coco, the newest member of our family there, and she was in one of Nala's old cages. And these 2 were in the slightly larger cage, but rabbits still belong in tiny little cages. We wanted them to grow up and be happy, and they were still small here, but we knew that we needed something bigger. So Brian offered to make a custom-built rabbit home within our home, and that was the important thing. We wanted something indoors that was really spacious for them, and Brian decided to go with the size 8 feet by 4 feet, and then the walls of the home were going to be about 3.5 feet, 4 feet, and it was really important for us to give them a space where they could run around and jump around in without having the risk of bumping their head against the top of their hutch. Now, definitely one thing to consider is cost, of course. So I had my eye on all these different hutches and cages that I found on Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, you name it. And the ones that I liked were approximately $500 or more. And not only that, we didn't know the build quality, we didn't know the materials that were being used. We didn't know how good of a hutch it would actually be, so Brian offered to make it from plywood that was untreated, unsanded, and so Brian spent a few hours sanding them down and cutting them down to size because these would be the main building blocks of forming the hutch. So the total cost of this indoor hutch came to about $100, or just under $100. It did take some blood, sweat, and tears. And when I say blood, I actually mean it. He ended up hammering his finger, and a few weeks later, he lost that fingernail. It was pretty gross. So the materials that were used to form this were plywood, chicken wire, hinges, a lock, wood glue, nail gun, and paint. It was non-toxic paint. And as you can see, he was adding chicken wire and then adding another layer of plywood to cover up kind of the seam and just to make it look a little smoother. And that was it. We wanted something a little simple, cost efficient, and sturdy, and that's why we went with the chicken wire. And you can see the hinges that he placed on that custom made door. We wanted to make it low enough so that we could comfortably walk in and out, and then added a lock so that we could lock it from the outside, just in case Nala or the rabbits would shake the door and the door would swing open. If you're a rabbit owner, you know that rabbits like to hide in something. So one big thing was we wanted to make a little hidey house, and that's exactly what Brian is working on at the moment. He was forming 4 legs, and then this was going to be the side of the hidey house. And he wanted to create these little windows so that they can poke their noses out or just peek out from. And we wanted to elevate the hutch or the little hidey house so that the rabbits can also hide underneath it or go up the ramp and into the hidey house itself. I forgot to mention one thing, which is wood glue. So Brian utilized wood glue to secure the walls of the hidey house onto the base, and we made sure that it was all dry and ready to go before we let the rabbits go in. We also didn't paint the outside walls yet because I honestly didn't know what color I wanted. So we were waiting on that, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to paint anywhere near where the rabbits might be able to eat the paint. Here, Brian was installing the ramp. There was another piece underneath this ramp to hold it up in place, and he was installing almost like these miniature stairs for the rabbits to utilize as they were going to run up and down this custom little ramp. We made sure that the rabbits were in their cages and that Nala was gated off from the kitchen area just in case she was going to, be in the way. So that was her looking a little sad. And I don't know what was on her nose there. Later on, we added this little cat tunnel from IKEA, and that litter box was also from IKEA. What isn't shown is the hay box that we used to hang on a piece of plywood so that it would hang above the litter box and they could eat and do their business all at the same time, because we know that rabbits like to eat and poop all at the same time. It was really cute because at first the rabbits didn't know how to use a ramp, so they were really struggling. So Brian and I actually placed all 3 of the rabbits up into the home up there just so they knew what was up there, and we wanted to show them how snuggly and cozy it was for them. And literally by the next day, all 3 of them were running up and down this ramp, no problems at all. So we had nothing to worry about. After we painted the outside, we made sure to line the inside first of all with a pee pad so that in case they urinated in there, it wouldn't seep into the wood. But we also laid down some blankets and other things so that it was really cozy and comfortable for them. We also ended up purchasing some outlet covers. They were for kids and, for safety measures. It's a little plastic plug that you plug into the outlet there. So I know it's not a huge deal, but better safe than sorry. We care about our pets and we want to keep them as safe as possible. Another thing to consider is to make sure you have some sort of blanket or cushion on the floor. Sometimes we see videos or pictures of rabbits standing on top of a wire mesh floor, and that's horrible for their feet. They don't have any friction for when they run or binky around, but also they can develop some sore hocks, which is wounds on their feet from standing on such a hard surface. So keep that in mind as well. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and like this video or comment, and we would really appreciate it. We hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye!
참 겁주시고 내려온다.